If you are waiting for your visa interview date, stop everything and watch this video. Because right now, in May 2026, thousands of people are sitting at home wondering why their interview has not been scheduled, even though their documents are complete and their paperwork is ready. The answer comes down to one thing: the Visa Bulletin. And if you do not understand how it controls your interview, you could be waiting much longer than you need to. Welcome back to Immigration Updates today. This channel exists for one reason: to give you clear, honest, and updated immigration information so that you are never caught off guard. Today we are talking about something that confuses a huge number of people going through the green card process. It is called the Visa Bulletin, and it directly controls when you can get your visa interview scheduled at a U.S. embassy or consulate abroad. This is not just a background topic. Right now, in May 2026, there are important changes happening with the Visa Bulletin that are affecting thousands of applicants. Whether you are in the family-based green card line or the employment-based category, this video is going to walk you through exactly what is happening and what you need to do. Let us get into it. What is the Visa Bulletin and why does it control everything? First, let us make sure we understand what the Visa Bulletin actually is. Every single month, the U.S. Department of State publishes a document called the Visa Bulletin. This bulletin sets what are called cutoff dates for each immigrant visa category and for each country. If your priority date, that is the date your petition was originally filed, is earlier than the cutoff date listed in the bulletin, your visa number is considered available. That is when things can move forward. If your priority date is not yet earlier than the cutoff date, nothing can happen. You wait. This system exists because U.S. law limits the number of immigrant visas that can be issued each year. The annual cap for family-sponsored preference immigrants in fiscal year 2026 is 226,000. For employment-based categories, it is at least 140,000. When more people are in line than there are available visa numbers, a queue forms, and the Visa Bulletin manages that queue. The bottom line is simple: without bulletin availability, your interview cannot be scheduled. Period. What has changed in May 2026? This month, there is a critical update that every applicant must know. The U.S. Department of State released the May 2026 Visa Bulletin, and the news is not great for employment-based applicants in particular. For May 2026, USCIS has instructed that employment-based applicants must use the final action dates chart, not the more favorable dates for filing chart. This is a significant rollback from what happened in previous months. What does this mean in plain language? It means that many people who were eligible to file their adjustment of status applications in April 2026 are no longer eligible to file in May 2026. The window closed, at least temporarily. USCIS made this decision because the agency determined it can no longer forecast that there are more immigrant visas available than there are known applicants. When that happens, USCIS switches back to the stricter chart and fewer people can move forward. For family-sponsored categories in May 2026, the situation is somewhat different. Family-based applicants are still using the dates for filing chart, which is the more favorable option. Family preference categories like F1 saw meaningful movement earlier this year, though progress has been uneven across categories. If you are an employment-based applicant, especially from India or China, this change matters a great deal. India EB2 cutoff dates, for example, remain around mid-2014. That is a backlog of more than a decade. China EB1 cutoff dates currently sit at April 2023. These numbers move slowly, and when USCIS switches to the stricter chart, it makes the already long wait even harder. How this connects to your actual interview date. Now let us talk about what this means for people applying from outside the United States through consular processing. Here is something important to understand. There are actually two separate bottlenecks in this process. People often mix them up, and that causes a lot of confusion and frustration. The first bottleneck is the Visa Bulletin. This controls whether a visa number is even available for your category. If the bulletin does not show your priority date as current, no interview can be scheduled. This is a legal requirement. The National Visa Center cannot schedule you, and the embassy cannot help you until that bulletin date moves forward. The second bottleneck is the NVC and embassy scheduling backlog. Even when your priority date does become current, you still have to wait for an actual appointment slot to open up. The National Visa Center fills interview appointments in a first-in, first-out manner based on when cases became documentarily complete. Embassy capacity varies significantly by location. In 2026, wait times after becoming documentarily complete range from 3 months to 12 months depending on the post. High-volume posts like Ciudad Juarez, Manila, and Mumbai often take longer. Smaller posts with lower demand can move faster. So even if the visa bulletin moves in your favor, do not expect your interview to happen the next week. The system has 2 gates, and you have to get through both. The adjudication pause affecting dozens of countries. This is perhaps the most serious update in this video, and it affects a very large number of people watching right now. Effective January 21, 2026, the U.S. Department of State announced an indefinite pause on immigrant visa issuances for nationals of dozens of countries. As of the May 2026 Visa Bulletin, this pause is confirmed to still be in effect. The list of affected countries is extensive and includes Pakistan, Nigeria, Bangladesh, Egypt, Ethiopia, Brazil, Haiti, Iran, Iraq, Cuba, and many others across Africa, the Middle East, South Asia, Latin America, and Eastern Europe. What does this pause mean in practice? It does not mean embassies have stopped accepting applications or conducting interviews. Interviews are still happening in many cases. But after the interview, the consular officer is not issuing the actual visa. Cases are being placed in administrative processing or held in a waiting state while the pause continues. This is an indefinite pause. There is no announced end date. And for families who have already been waiting years in the backlog, this adds another layer of uncertainty on top of everything else. There is some cautiously positive news for some applicants. As of March 30, 2026, USIS announced it would begin resuming processing for applicants from countries classified as non-high risk within the affected group, but only after enhanced vetting, including social media screening and criminal database checks. This is a slow and unpredictable process. If you or your family members are from any of the affected countries, the most important thing you can do right now is consult a qualified immigration attorney. Do not rely solely on unofficial sources or community forums for guidance on your specific situation, what retrogression means, and why you should watch for it. One more term you need to understand is retrogression. Retrogression happens when the visa bulletin cutoff dates move backward from 1 month to the next. Your priority date might be current in 1 month and then the very next month. It is no longer current. When that happens, your interview cannot be scheduled even if it was almost ready. Retrogression is not rare. It has happened multiple times in recent years and can happen at any point in the fiscal year when demand exceeds supply in a given category. The fiscal year ends on September 30. As we approach the end of fiscal year 2026, retrogression becomes more likely in oversubscribed categories. Some categories may even become completely unavailable before the fiscal year closes. This is why you need to check the Visa Bulletin every single month without fail. What you should do right now. Here are clear, actionable steps based on everything we covered today. First, find your priority date. It is on your I-797 Notice of Action from USIS or visible through your Seek account. Second, check the May 2026 Visa Bulletin on the State Department's official website. Look at your visa category and your country of chargeability. Compare your priority date to the final action dates chart, since that is the chart in effect for employment-based categories this month. Third, if you are applying from outside the United States, log into Seek and make sure your case status is up to date. Make sure NVC has your correct email address and contact information. If your case has been documentarily complete for more than 6 months and you have not received an interview date, consider sending an inquiry to NVC with your case number. Fourth, if your country is on the adjudication pause list, do not panic, but do seek professional guidance. An immigration attorney can help you understand whether any exceptions apply to your case and what options you may have. Fifth, do not book your medical exam until you have an official interview appointment letter in hand. Medical exam results are typically valid for 6 months, so timing matters. Sixth, watch for retrogression as we move closer to September 30. If your priority date is close to becoming current, the next few months are critical. Let us bring everything together. The Visa Bulletin is released every month and controls when your visa interview can be scheduled. Without bulletin availability, nothing moves forward, regardless of how complete your documents are. In May 2026, USIS switched employment-based applicants to the stricter final action dates chart, reducing how many people can file. Family-based applicants continue on the more favorable dates for filing chart. There are two separate bottlenecks, the Visa Bulletin itself and the NVC and Embassy scheduling backlog. Both affect your timeline independently. An adjudication pause that began in January 2026 is still in effect for nationals of dozens of countries. Visa interviews may still happen, but actual visa issuance remains on hold in many cases. Retrogression is always a risk, especially as the fiscal year approaches its end in September. Stay informed every month. Outro and call to action. That is everything you need to know about how visa interviews still depend entirely on bulletin availability in 2026. I know this topic feels overwhelming. There are a lot of moving parts. But understanding how the system works puts you in a much stronger position than someone who is just waiting and hoping. If this video helped you understand something that was confusing before, please give it a like. It helps other people in the same situation find this content. Share it with anyone you know who is going through the immigration process right now. They may need this information more than you realize. Subscribe to Immigration Updates today so you never miss a bulletin analysis, a policy change, or a breaking update that could affect your case. We publish new videos regularly, and our one goal is to make sure you are always informed, always prepared, and never caught off guard. We will see you in the next video.